Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a story that, well, it's haunted imaginations for over 2 centuries. It's a tale that really dares to ask, what happens when humanity plays God, creates life, but then just recoils in horror from its own creation?
It's such a profound question, isn't it? And one that really forces us to look at these deep conflicts. You know, the tension between the creator and the created, that heavy weight of responsibility versus just unchecked ambition.
Yeah.
And then there's the isolation, right? The loneliness that comes from choosing solitude, but also from being brutally rejected. It's like foundational for understanding our darker sides.
That's a great way to put it. And the book we're digging into today, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, first out in 1818, then revised in 1831. It's pure Gothic, yeah, but also, amazingly, one of the very first science fiction novels.
Absolutely. Its power is just enduring. It really sets itself up as this powerful warning,
Yeah.
about ambition without a moral compass, and maybe even more crucially, about the obligations you have when you create something, especially something sentient. It makes you think about the aftermath, the ethics.
Okay, so let's dive into the story itself. It actually starts, kind of surprisingly, way up in the Arctic, through letters from this explorer, Robert Walton. He's ambitious, wants glory, discovery, writing to his sister. But then his ship gets stuck, trapped in the ice, instantly gives you that feeling of isolation, danger.
Yeah, it's a striking opening, sets the mood perfectly.
Yeah.
And Walton's ambition, his drive, it sort of mirrors Victor Frankenstein's own hubris later on, doesn't it? What's interesting, too, is Walton's own loneliness. He wants a friend out there, someone to share things with. That need for connection echoes throughout the whole story.
Exactly. And right there in that frozen wasteland, his crew finds someone, a dying man, basically. Victor Frankenstein. He's pursuing this huge, mysterious figure across the ice. They rescue him, and Victor, well, he agrees to tell Walton his insane, tragic story, which kind of pulls us right in.
Right, and that frame story is clever. It lets us hear Victor's tale through his own lens, full of regret, maybe self-pity, who knows.
Yeah.
Walton's listening, just like us. But it makes you wonder, how reliable is Victor? And you see Walton, this ambitious guy, maybe starting to rethink things as he hears this awful story.
So Victor starts his tale. He's from a good family in Geneva, super smart, always had this ardent desire to learn, as Shelley puts it. Early on, he's obsessed with, old alchemists, Agrippa, Paracelsus, dreaming big, Philosopher's Stone, elixir of life, wanting to conquer human limits.
That alchemy part is key. It shows his desire for, ultimate knowledge, almost magical power. Not just understanding nature, but controlling it. Then he goes to university, Ingolstadt, gets into modern science, chemistry, physiology, and that kind of grounds his ambition, makes his later experiments seem terrifyingly possible for the time.
And there's this personal tragedy right before he leaves for university. His mother dies. Scarlet fever, caught while nursing Elizabeth, who he loves. That loss. You have to wonder if it fueled his obsession later. Maybe it adds this layer of wanting to defeat death itself.
That's a really important point. How much did that grief drive him? Did it blind him to the ethics of it all? It feels like his quest wasn't just pure science, right? It was personal, maybe trying to fill that void, conquer that fear. Makes it more complex, I think.
And what a quest it becomes. He just throws himself into it, ignores everyone, everything. Spends months in, vaults and charnel houses, grim stuff, driven by this one single idea: bestow animation upon lifeless matter, create life. And he decides, practically, to make the being huge, about 8 feet tall. Easier to work on the parts that way, he figured.
Yeah, the sheer obsession is consuming. He talks about abandoning everyone for this great object.
Yeah.
It really shows how that kind of focus can cut you off from your own humanity. And making it gigantic. Okay, practical for him maybe, but it guarantees it's going to be seen as monstrous, right? Other. Scary.
Then the big moment, the lab, the half-extinguished light. He sees the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathes, it moves, but instant regret. Breathless horror and disgust, he calls it. This hideous phantasm, yellow skin, watery eyes, black lips. He just panics, runs away, abandons his creation on the spot.
And that is the core failure, isn't it? The moment everything hinges on. He creates life, then immediately rejects it based on looks. Pure aesthetic horror. That abandonment, that failure of responsibility, it sets everything else in motion. He sees a demon, not a being with potential. It's devastating.
Yeah. So the creature's early life is just confusion, sensory overload, alone in the wilderness. But then it finds the de Lacy family, blind old man, his kids Felix and Agatha, later Safie, and by watching them secretly, it gets this incredible education.
Right, and this is where your heart just breaks for the creature. It shows its potential for learning, for empathy, even kindness. It learns language, history, society, love, all from watching this poor but loving family. It even tries to help them anonymously. Shows its initial, goodness, its desire to connect.
But learning also brings this awful self-awareness. It realizes how different it looks, how hideously deformed it is compared to them, finds Victor's journal too, reads about his creator's disgust. That's gotta sting.
Oh, absolutely. It learns human values only to find out it's completely excluded from them. It internalizes that prejudice. The journal confirms its worst fears. It basically realizes it's utterly alone. Satan had his companions, it says later, but I am solitary and abhorred. That's where the misery really takes root.
So it tries to connect, right?
Yeah.
Approaches the old blind man first, hoping sight won't be an issue. But the others come back, see it, and just chaos. Screaming, fainting. Felix attacks it violently, drives it away. Total rejection from the people it admired.
That's the point of no return, really.
Yeah.
Its first real interaction with humans, and it's pure violence and fear aimed right at it. That's when the suffering turns into something else. Revenge. It famously says, "Misery made me a fiend." And you see how it happened. Cruelty breeds cruelty.
And the revenge is calculated. It goes to Geneva, finds Victor's little brother William, kills him, not in a rage but deliberately to hurt Victor. Then it plants a locket from William on Justine Moritz, a family friend. She gets blamed, executed. Victor knows the truth but stays silent, afraid, maybe ashamed.
Both, probably. And it highlights Victor's ongoing failure. His silence costs Justine her life. He prioritizes his reputation, maybe his sanity, over justice. Meanwhile, the creature's actions show how twisted it's become. Cold, calculated cruelty born from that rejection. It's a horrible cycle.
Victor's wrecked with guilt. He heads to the Alps, seeking peace in nature, And there, on a glacier, bam, confrontation. The creature appears, and it speaks eloquently, pleading for understanding, recounting its suffering. It's not just a monster.
And scene is so powerful. The creature's intellect, its articulate pain, it completely challenges Victor's narrative, his self-pity. It demands its rights, demands empathy, shows itself as this rational feeling being. Do your duty towards me, it says, basically calling out Victor's huge moral lapse.
And its demand is stunning. Make me a companion, a female, like me, someone to share this lonely existence. It promises they'll disappear, go to South America, never bother anyone again. Victor. He struggles. Guilt, fear, maybe a tiny hope this could end it. He agrees. Reluctantly.
It's such a complex moment for Victor. He agrees, yeah, but under duress. Out of guilt and terror, mostly. But it also shows he's still wrestling with the power he has. Now he's being forced to create again, not for glory, but to try and fix his mess. It's already poisoned.
So he goes off to this remote island in Scotland, starts the second creation, but he's filled with dread this time. What if they hate each other? What if they don't leave? What if they reproduce, create a whole new race to threaten humanity? Real ethical panic sets in. And then, watching through the window, the creature sees Victor destroy the half-finished female companion, tearing it apart.
A huge turning point. Victor finally seems to grasp the wider consequences, his duty to humanity maybe.
Yeah.
But from the creature's view, it's the ultimate betrayal. Destroying its only hope for companionship, for happiness. It's a decision made out of fear again, not compassion. And it seals both their fates, really.
The creature's reaction, pure, chilling rage, a howl of devilish despair and revenge, and then the vow, I will be with you on your wedding night. Terrifying.
Yeah, that's it. The final transformation. Any shred of hope, of benevolence is gone now. Annihilated by that act. Misery has made it a fiend. Only rage is left. It's the direct result of Victor's choices.
And the tragedies just pile up. Victor's best friend, Henry Clerval, is murdered. Victor gets blamed, jailed in Ireland. He gets out, but that vow hangs over him. He marries Elizabeth, thinking he can protect her by facing the creature alone on their wedding night. Miscalculates completely.
It's heartbreaking, his continued blindness. He thinks he can control it, shield her, but he just leads her right into danger. His hubris is still there, even now. He fundamentally misunderstands the depth of the creature's pain, the determination behind that vow, and it costs him everything. Love, friendship, family, gone.
And the creature fulfills its promise, kills Elizabeth on their wedding night. Horrific. Found lifeless, thrown across the bed. Victor's father dies of grief soon after. Victor's world is just obliterated.
Yeah, that seals it. The final catastrophic outcome of his initial abandonment. The creature systematically destroys everything Victor valued, mirroring its own destroyed hopes. It's just this bleak cycle of violence born from neglect. Creator and created, both utterly consumed by it.
So Victor, filled with nothing but hate now, chases the creature. Across Europe, up into the Arctic, pure vengeance driving him. It wears him down, this chase. Leads to him being found by Walton's ship where he tells his story, and then he dies. His revenge unfulfilled. A warning to Walton.
Right, and that parallel with Walton is crucial. Walton, the ambitious explorer, gets this front row seat to where that kind of ambition can lead. Victor's dying words, "Learn from me. How dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge." It's his last attempt to pass on some wisdom, save Walton from the same fate.
But wait, there's one last scene. The creature appears on Walton's ship after Victor's death, and it mourns him. It speaks again, full of remorse, admitting its own misery, its own degradation, shows that complex soul again. It plans to go to the farthest north, build its own funeral pyre, destroy itself, to prevent anyone else from suffering its fate. Finding peace in oblivion, I guess.
That final act, it's tragic, but also, weirdly, an act of responsibility, isn't it? Ending its own suffering and preventing more like it. It just highlights the waste. This being capable of good, driven to monstrosity by isolation and cruelty. A really sad, thought-provoking end.
Okay, so let's unpack the big things here. First, obviously, creation and responsibility.
Yeah, this is the absolute heart of it. Shelley hammers home the creator's duty. Victor's flight isn't just panic, it's a moral catastrophe. It directly causes all the suffering. The creature's plea, "Do your duty towards me," nails it. Creation comes with an obligation, a debt of care Victor refuses to pay.
So it's less about the science itself and more about the follow-through, the nurturing, the acceptance. He makes life, then refuses to parent it, essentially. That neglect shapes the creature, makes you think about our own creations, tangible or not, and the stewardship involved.
Exactly, which flows right into the next theme. Isolation versus community. It's brutal for both of them. Victor isolates himself through obsession, the guilt and secrecy, pushes people away. His solitude becomes a prison.
And the creature.
Even worse, enforced isolation. Pure prejudice because of how it looks. It craves connection, but gets only fear and violence. That total lack of belonging fuels the misery, twists it into vengeance. It screams out its loneliness, shows how vital community and acceptance are for anyone, anything, to thrive.
A vicious cycle, yeah. Victor's isolation creates the creature. The creature's isolation destroys Victor, which leads to the dangers of hubris and unchecked curiosity.
Oh, Victor is the poster child for this. His lofty ambition, chasing secrets of heaven and earth without thinking about consequences. He wants to be godlike. He wants to surpass limits, innovate beyond ethics, not just discover, but conquer.
He even warns Walton, right? "Learn from me. How dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge," realizing too late that his torrent of light cast massive shadows.
Right. Is knowledge itself bad? Or is it the unethical pursuit of it? Shelley suggests the latter. Victor's science lacked a moral compass. It was for personal glory, not collective good. That selfishness destroyed him.
Then there's nature versus nurture, huge in this book.
Definitely. The novel strongly suggests the creature starts out, well, good, capable of empathy, kindness. Remember it helping the DeLacys. It's not born evil. It's the constant rejection, the cruelty that twists it. Misery made me a fiend, it says. Environment shapes character. If it had been accepted, loved. Who knows?
So the monster was made, not born. Made by the world's reaction, which ties into the outsider and otherness.
Precisely. It's all about prejudice based on looks. The creature's appearance guarantees its exclusion, its suffering. Despite its intelligence, its feelings, people just see the monster. It forces us to look at our own biases. Who's really monstrous? The creation or the society rejecting it?
And lastly, a theme that feels incredibly current. Knowledge, power, and accountability.
Yeah, Frankenstein was asking these questions way back. It's about the ethics of scientific progress. When inventions have huge, unforeseen impacts, Victor gains the power over life itself, but completely fails the accountability test. He has the knowledge, but not the wisdom or morals to manage it. With great power comes great responsibility, right? He just drops the ball, catastrophically.
Let's quickly touch on the main characters, Victor Frankenstein.
Complex, brilliant at first, but yeah, ultimately tragic. Starts ambitious, ends consumed by guilt, self-pity, unable to take responsibility. Moral blindness eclipses his intellect, a total cautionary tale.
And
Maybe the most compelling character. Intelligent, eloquent, feels deeply. Capable of good, but driven to vengeance by suffering and rejection. A victim, really. Reflecting society's failures of empathy. Its journey is just harrowing.
Robert Walton, the explorer framing it all.
He's the foil. shares Victor's initial ambition, but gets to hear the whole story. He's our chance, the reader's chance, to learn from Victor's mistakes. And he does, right? He turns his ship back. He learns the lesson Victor couldn't.
And Elizabeth and Henry Clerval.
They're symbols, aren't they, of kindness, love, joy, everything ever sacrifices for his obsession. They represent the human connection he threw away. Their deaths are the ultimate price of his hubris, leaving him utterly alone.
The way the story is told is also revolutionary, the structure itself.
Oh yeah, the nested narratives.
Yeah.
Walton's letters holding Victor's story, which holds the creature's story. It's brilliant. Gives us multiple perspectives, layers of truth, makes us question reliability. Whose version do we trust? Deepens the empathy, complicates judgment.
Like Russian dolls of tragedy. And the atmosphere. Pure Gothic.
Totally. Those sublime, terrifying landscapes, the Alps, the Arctic, they mirror the internal turmoil, the isolation, the horror. Nature itself feels vast, indifferent, sometimes menacing. Classic Gothic vibes, anxiety, pursuit, the unnatural.
And it really laid the groundwork for science fiction, didn't it?
Absolutely. It mixes that scientific speculation, animating dead matter, with deep moral philosophy. What are the ethics of this breakthrough? That's the template. Science meets consequences.
Bringing it to today, it feels almost eerily relevant, doesn't it? Like a parable for right now.
It really does. AI, synthetic biology, genetic engineering. Frankenstein speaks directly to those debates. Creation, autonomy, unintended consequences of powerful tech. The questions are more urgent than ever.
You see AI advancing, and you can't help but think of Victor's lab, which brings up creator responsibility today.
Exactly. Victor's failure to care for his creation. It's a direct parallel to debates about the duties of tech innovators. We need ethics baked in from the start, right? What do we owe the AI we build, the life forms we engineer? It demands foresight, stewardship.
It's more than just launching a product. It's thinking about the ripples, which connects to that whole move fast and break things idea.
Precisely. The novel warns against that, ignoring the social costs, the duties to users, to communities, to the creations themselves. It's dangerous. Innovation needs accountability, empathy. Otherwise, you risk creating monsters. Maybe not physical ones, but societal, ethical monsters.
Wow. Okay, a couple of those lines just stick with you. The creature, misery made me a fiend, sums up that tragic transformation.
And Victor's warning. Learn from me. How dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge? A timeless message about ambition needing a moral anchor feels more relevant every year.
Maybe the real monsters aren't created, but are born from ambition without responsibility, from abandonment, affecting both the creator and the created. Makes you look inward.
It does. It forces us to think about our own roles, our own responsibilities, and all the ways we create and innovate.
So, here's a thought to leave you with. If Frankenstein were written today, would the lab be a data center? The unhallowed arts be coding? And the creature? Maybe an AI we have a duty not to abandon, something to think about. Until our next deep dive, keep questioning.